Good and bad. So, we'll jump right into that. Right after I apologize for all the mowing sounds, the dogs barking, potentially the children screaming because they're about to get home from school. But I figured it's better to have that than to have no video at all. So we're gonna go. We're gonna do it. Now, after that apology, let's jump right in. So, about mid-regular season, a very hot topic that a lot of people were talking about. Analysts, commentators, commenters, all of them, they were talking about this. Was why the NBA viewership was down, and it was down like a significant amount, 50%. And there's a lot of theories out there, and I want to discuss this because I wanted to talk about it when it was kind of happening, and then Luka got traded, and then it started the conspiracy theories of the NBA being involved in this trade, and then the Mavs get the number 1 overall pick. So this topic of conversation has kind of come back up, and I want to discuss it. I want to share my own opinions. Now, some of them are not new, and some of them are new, to contribute to the conversation. Look, NBA viewership is down, and a lot of people are blaming it on the style that NBA players and teams play with nowadays compared to the early 2000s, what I grew up with, the 90s and whatnot. That the NBA is soft, that you shoot too many threes, and that teams play the exact same way. Do I believe that the NBA is soft? Kind of. Do I believe that people aren't watching the NBA because of the threes taken? No. I don't have a problem with that. I think stylistically, the NBA is just as good as it has ever been. I think that in the early 2000s and in the 90s, there were a lot of bad shots being taken. There are a lot of bad mid-range shots that no-name players were taking, and instead of these bad long mid-range shots, we now have superstars taking threes, or role players taking more threes. The spacing is better, and when the spacing is better, you're giving more space for superstars to score points. Now, is there something to be said about the softness of the refereeing, the softness of flopping and foul baiting? Absolutely. Now, I don't think that flopping and foul baiting, I don't actually blame the players. The players are doing exactly what they need to do to win the game. It's competition. You want to win. If the winners are the ones foul baiting and flopping, the rest of the league will follow. It is up to the NBA and the referees to stop that, to implement rules, to discourage that from happening. And they have done that in the past, where they have fined players. They've actually given out flagrants and technicals for flopping. But whenever they do this and they start these things, they end up always going back on them. And it would really benefit the product of the NBA if they held true and they stuck with these technicals and these fines for flopping. Flopping hurts the NBA. Period. Nothing good comes out of that. And so, long term, if they don't make changes, it's going to really hurt their product. Now, I don't think that explains all of the 50%. Absolutely not. I think it's a small percentage that do not watch the NBA for that reason. I think a bigger percentage of people have not watched the NBA because they can't, including me. Sometimes the streaming rights are wild in the NBA. I should not have to own 3 different streaming services to be able to watch my team. I should not have to spend the money to buy NBA League Pass at the beginning of the season and then not be able to watch my local team on NBA League Pass because I don't was able to watch my Cleveland Cavaliers probably 75% of the games on FSN. And the reason I wasn't able to watch all of them was because sometimes the Columbus Blue Jackets played instead. So I missed some of them, but it was because the Blue Jackets were on. It was easily explained. Guys, we're not making it easy for fans to watch their own team. They aren't going to be bought in. They're not going to be invested in that team if they can't watch them. It's very easy. It's very simple. And so if you're making streaming difficult, less people are going to be able to watch. Period. That's it. It's very simple. I think that is the biggest thing. Now, here's my take, my opinion, that I've never actually heard anybody talk about. Growing up, I played 2K every single year from 2012 to 2021 or 2022. And before I played 2K, I played NBA Live from 2005 to 2011. I played NBA video games endlessly. That was my way of learning about all of the players. You know, of course I watched it occasionally, but video games have such a massive impact on us growing up. If we play Madden, we know the players. We play 2K, we know the players. We know their values. We know their overalls. We know their skills. I know a lot of kids. I know a lot of high schoolers. They don't play the game like we used to play it. That means that they are going to view the NBA less. They're going to be less of a fan than we were. And so the fatigue of the game and the inability for 2K to be able to reach the younger generations like they did us, I think it's actually having a negative impact on the league. But then Luka gets traded, and this trade is the most bizarre trade that has ever happened in the NBA. I mean, we've never seen a player of Luka's caliber who is not disgruntled, not frustrated with the front office, is loved by the fans and everybody in the team. I mean, Mark Cuban said that I think he said he would rather be divorced from his wife than to trade Luka. And Luka loved the Mavs. We have never, ever seen a player like this get traded. Especially for what he got traded for. Now, the sketchiest thing about this trade is that the Mavs did not shop Luka. They didn't shop him. If you want to get the most back, you want to get the most value, you shop him. You create a bidding war amongst the rest of the NBA. And they did not do that. They offered one trade. The Lakers took that trade, and it's over. Boom. Right there. It's done. They did not get the full value of what Luka was worth. My lord. Look what Rudy Gobert went for. We're probably gonna see Giannis get traded this year. Be aware for some crazy offers for Giannis. And the Mavs totally missed out on that. And so when we see that happen, how can we not ask questions about the NBA's involvement? That maybe they wanted the Lakers to have a few more superstars. LeBron's getting ready to go. It's bad for the NBA when the Lakers are bad. It's bad for the NBA when the Knicks are bad. These big market teams are very important to the overall popularity and success of the NBA. Now, I hate that. I hate that that's true. But when you have ESPN constantly talking about the Celtics, Knicks, and Lakers nonstop, and they suck, nobody's gonna watch ESPN. It hurts everybody. That's partly their fault, because there's a lot of good storylines in the NBA. So this happens, and then the Mavs get the #1 draft pick 90% chance or something close to that. And who is surprised? Absolutely nobody. So, a long time ago, I made a video about the NBA conspiracy theories, and most of them are about the NBA draft and how they've rigged it over the years. It's just one more example why the NBA has reason, why NBA fans have reason to be sketchy about it. Anyway, so all this stuff, it's been fascinating. Which makes it a good time to be an NBA fan and a bad time, because I think we're getting ready to see some change, and I really, really hope that we see some change in the way the NBA officiates, because I think a lot of people are getting fed up with it. We don't want to see foul baiting. We don't want to see it. Let the defenses play. The game is physical. Let them touch each other. Sounds weird, but let them touch each other. And so that brings us to the NBA playoffs. Because as soon as the NBA playoffs started, the games were officiated differently. And the commenters, or the commentators, they talked about it a lot. Like, all this NBA basketball, what's a foul in the regular season isn't a foul in the playoffs. And my question is, why? Why officiate the games differently? Is it injury? Are you trying to prevent injury? I don't understand. Why can't we officiate the game the same all the time? Because playoff officiating is so much better. Now, unfortunately, as you go down the line, as the game continues on, in the fourth quarter, games start to get chippy, and then they start to call it like they do in the regular season. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they allowed players to talk to each other, for temperatures to rise, for players to get in each other's faces. It increases competition. The NBA is entertainment. No, it's not the WWE, but we like to see that kind of competition. We like to see players get heated. We like to see them go at each other. We like to see them talk to each other. I like seeing people dunk on each other and stare them down. Dunk on somebody and you land on them and you push them on the ground. You know, we don't need to go that far, but like, we love that. There's something in us that loves that. It's truly entertaining. And the way that the NBA officials are calling games, my lord, you can't even look at each other. You can't even speak to each other. You can't talk to anybody. It kills it. It kills the energy. It kills the competition. We don't get to see players' personalities. It's brutal. They're really eliminating an entertainment factor of the game that would make the product better. Now, let's talk about the playoffs. Guys, the Cavaliers and the Celtics have been eliminated, and I'm depressed. I grieved the loss of my Cavaliers, and I think I'm ready to finally talk about it. The Cavs were the second best team in the regular season. For much of the regular season, we were the number one team. trying to get 50 a game. Maybe. But like, how can we blame him? Our team freaking sucked. So he went out there and he put up 50 a game. So you can't really be mad at him. It's just everything, guys. And it's infuriating. And then it's just like, what do we do? Do we blow up the whole team? Do we make big trades? Do we have assets to be able to trade for Giannis? Do we get rid of people? What is it? What do we do? Do we run it back? Because we have a great roster. We have a great regular season team. Now, our bench, and a lot of you guys probably aren't even Cavs fans, but you're NBA fans, so you might want to hear me talk about this. Our bench was one of our best, one of the best things about our team. Ty Jerome was up for sixth man of the year, and so was DeAndre Hunter. We had two guys up for sixth man of the year, and then we also had guys like Sam Merrill and our power forward with his spiky hair, big bum. We dropped Kevin Love for him. Anyway, I can't think of his name. I'm embarrassed. They gave us nothing. Sam Merrill was so bad we couldn't even put him on the floor. You're a 3-point specialist. You can't shoot like 1 for 15. Ty Jerome, you get buckets. I can't have you out there shooting 1 for 15 and you can't run an offense. You're not very fast and your ball handling has a ways to go. Like, we couldn't even have him out on the court. He's freaking traffic going on defense. DeAndre Hunter completely collapsed when he started beefing with one of the players on the Pacers. I don't know if it was Nemhard or who it was, honestly. Maybe it started with an M. I don't know who it was, but he completely collapsed. Couldn't even hit the rim on the shots. Gave us nothing. Our bench was useless. Then you have Darius Garland, who's phenomenal, but he has sprained toe, and his big thing is being able to stop and go, change his speed. And when he got a full head of steam, he was not able to stop his momentum, so he made decisions and played like I've never seen him play like that. Like when he drove to the rim, he would just, in the regular season, or when he's healthy, he stops and he pulls up for a floater. Instead, he was seeking contact because he couldn't stop his momentum, so that threw us off. And he's our main ball handler. He's the guy that runs the offense. Everything goes through him. And we never were able to figure it out because then we went to Donovan. Donovan was our main ball handler, and Donovan is phenomenal. He's so good, but we're better when he's not that guy. Like when we use him as like a true shooting guard instead of the shooting guard who comes down the court. And he's our first option, and if he's not open, then he passes. We're a lot better with Darius. And so that hurt us. Evan Mobley is still a child when it comes to pressure. Jared Allen played like he was depressed. Guys, it was bad. And by the last game against the Pacers, there's a part of me that didn't even want to win because I knew that one, they were going to beat us the next game or the next game, and if we played either the Celtics or the Knicks, we were going to lose that series because of how bad we were. Anyway, but shouts out to the Pacers. Pacers played incredible basketball, so good, knocking down shots in the fourth quarter. They're fourth quarter fiends. Tyrese Halliburton, he's great, but also he makes the rest of his team better, and that's what we really needed out of Darius Garland. We didn't have that, but Tyrese was able to do that, and he continues to do that, making tough shots. And he did it against the Cavs, and he did it again against the Knicks a couple nights ago with one of the most insane shots I've ever seen, where the ball went up in the air about 10 feet to send it into overtime. The Knicks. Y'all took down really unfortunate.